Hello and welcome folks to this review of the Ghost Recon Wildlands Beta. Full disclosure, this video is not sponsored by Ubisoft or by anyone else, and I haven't actually purchased the game yet. I'm accessing the beta in the same way as everybody else. So Ghost Recon Wildlands is an open world tactical shooter based of course in the Ghost Recon world. The game is set in Bolivia and has a real Far Cry 2 or 3 feel to the maps and locations. It's also the first Ghost Recon game to feature a fully open world. Although only 2 provinces were unlocked for the beta, it already feels huge, and the finished game will contain, I believe, 21 provinces. You're not limited to one area or one path and can tackle missions in whatever order you want. The overall goal is to take down the Santa Blanca drug cartel with a focus on progressing towards the head guy, El Sueño. This is achieved by taking down the province bosses, who in turn each have a series of their own missions in order to reach them. Outside of that, there are other missions to gather resources, intel, skill points for upgrading abilities, and weapons crates that unlock new weapons. Welcome to the loadout screen. This will be familiar to those of you who've played The Division. There are a lot of similarities. Over here we have weapons that are unlocked and available to me. Locked ones have the little padlock icon. You do get a little hint on what you need to do to get those weapons. You can see here for the M1891 I need to explore La Cruz to unlock this, but here are the ones I have unlocked and in yellow currently equipped, 1 and 2. I don't know if that's primary and secondary because I use both of them for different roles, so we'll just call them 1 and 2 for now. Taking a look at the item in slot 1, which is my P416 assault rifle, we can hit F to edit this and bring up the gunsmith screen. The gun models are pretty nice. You can hold down right mouse button to move them around and take a look. The gunsmith screen will be familiar to you if you've played Ghost Recon in the past, and you can see that I have some new parts to fit also to this assault rifle, so we'll go ahead and do that. It's telling me that I have a new scope that I can fit, and it is one of 2 new scopes. I can fit MP5, a well-made Russian sight good for CQB, or a panoramic sight. Hollow sight swaps reticles while aiming. Yeah, I'll go for that. You can also change the color of it as well. For some reason my weapon camo has disappeared, which I'll put back on in a moment, but you can go through each of these sections and change out many different parts of the weapon as well. You'll find these weapon parts on the map. I don't know if we'll be able to see one. No, not right now, but they will appear on the map with a gun icon just over them, like this kind of blue skill point just there. So again, looking at the gunsmith screen, we can see there are some paint presets as well, which I did have set. I'll put back, not sure where it went. And that applies your paint preset. You can also choose from a number of others. I don't know if there are more to unlock or you'll have this many outside of beta, but for me, just logging into open beta like everybody else, no special package or anything, these were all available. Here is the character editor. I've actually already started the game and created my character, so I'm doing this later on. This is available to you at all times, at least in the open beta, so it seems to a certain extent that you may be able to change your character after you have initially created them, which most games don't allow. Let's see if that's the case. Yeah, I seem to be able to make changes. I don't know if in the full non-beta game that will be the case or not, but since I love how my guy looks, I am not going to change a thing. I was curious just to see if you could, and it seems you can to a certain extent. I didn't try to make him look like Solid Snake. This was actually a random head when I just clicked the random button and got this. So just to show you some other parts of it, you can apply facial paint. You can change obviously your clothing. And there are various accessories that you can apply as well. Here are some of the various protagonists or groups that you'll be dealing with in the game, your own Operation Kingslayer, which is to take down the Santa Blanca cartel, is here. There's a current ghost level of 6, no idea what that means just yet. The rebel forces are the guys that you are helping out. They're on your side, they're green. The Santa Blanca cartel are the guys running the drug operation in Bolivia, and Unidad forces are part of the Bolivian army. Not entirely clear yet why they're not on your side, but they're most definitely not. And they're very tough to engage. They will have full body armor, fully automatic weapons, and vehicle mounted guns and weapons. Seriously consider before engaging them, especially if you don't have a surprise, or if there are many of them, it would be better just to avoid them. The map, or the tactical map for the Itacua province. You can see the various different icons and what they mean: weapons case, weapons accessories, skill points, or bonus medals. So I'll zoom out to give you a sense of appreciation of the size of the map. Here we have an unknown location that I can go to. These represent safe houses. There is some intel I can grab here. Items in green usually are a mission with a nice big reward. This one here will reward 2,000 gasoline, and this one will reward 2,500 comms tools, which I do need some of. Stealing a helicopter is actually a pretty easy mission. You can just run in and grab it, or you can do the whole take everyone out stealth way, which I prefer. And this arrow here in yellow indicates a story mission for the overall story on the Itacua province, which is to deal with La Yuri and El Polito, which you can see at the top left of the screen. You can zoom right out as well and see an overview of the whole hierarchy of the Santa Blanca cartel, and we're dealing with just one small part of it here, which is La Yuri y El Polito, which is just one small part leading up to La Plaga, this guy here, and eventually up to here. But each of these have their own sets of yellow missions leading up to this point. This is probably, this is the last one that I have to do before tackling these two characters, La Yuri and El Polito, to finish this section. And that's just this section, so you can see it's going to be a very big game. There are other sections over here as well. In the open beta we have just this area, Itacua and Montayoc, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, unlocked. I haven't even gone in here yet, and already this section, it has plenty of content to keep you busy. It's a classic Ubisoft open world game. They've written the playbook for this. Nothing wrong with that. If you like that kind of stuff before, you will like this. I did enjoy The Division, and I'm enjoying this as well. Let's take a look now at the skills tab. Skills are divided into 6 different sections, which you can see down the left side here. And in order to unlock a skill, you need to have the appropriate amount of resources available. So looking at the weapons branch of skills and taking stable aim as an example, you can see that stable aim level 1 is already unlocked. And we look down here that the current rank gave me a 15% movement reduction. This is specific to when using a sniper scope, which I like to use. It's a tactical game where stealth is important, so getting your sniper skills in order is important. The next rank up would give me a 30% movement reduction, and it's showing me what's required in order to do that. I would need 2 skill points, and I have 10. And I would also need 500 intel, I think it's intel, and you can see that I have 200. So it's telling me exactly what I need to do in order to get that, and I can look straight at the TAC map here and see that there's a mission here here to steal a helicopter that would give me 2,500 comms tools. Actually, not intel, it's comms tools. Stealing a helicopter is pretty easy, and that's a very big reward for doing that. Other skills here are listed, as I said, in one of the 6 sections on the left. They all work in the same way. You can unlock various levels of each skill using the required amount of resources along the side here, and as I just illustrated, you can go and look on the map and get those as well. Throughout the review, I will be contrasting Wildlands with The Division, which is another open world shooter from Ubisoft that I enjoyed for some 65 hours. Seems to make sense to me, so let's look at how the two games handle various common areas. In The Division, we have a story that, although well thought out and not another zombie-based apocalypse, for me it didn't really contribute to my enjoyment of The Division much beyond the opening scene, base setup, and meeting some of the main characters. Wildlands does have a more fleshed out story for sure, and it's supported by a complex hierarchy of captains, underbosses, and main bosses for each province. Maybe it's the nature of busy work-based games that have you on the map engaged in so much stuff, but so far in Wildlands I can't say that the story is adding to my enjoyment. I don't really remember the names of any of the main characters, and although this hasn't added any value to the game for me, it also has not reduced it in any way. The game is a good looking game, no doubt. Lush Bolivian countryside with excellent lighting gives way to snowy, desolate mountain peaks. In places though, many textures look a little rough up close. I did experience low frame rates in both the closed and open beta. On high settings I could exceed 30 FPS by just a few frames, but it was consistent. Settings above high produced sub 30 FPS. Bear in mind that this is a beta and Ubisoft have a habit of changing the graphical experience for release. For reference, I'm running an R9 290X 4GB overclocked, and while not the latest and greatest card, it certainly has no issues in any other games, even recent games as well. The low frame rates are not an issue, as I say, in other games. Interestingly, I note that The Division uses the Snowdrop engine while Wildlands uses Anvil Next, so maybe it is my setup that's the common factor, but I have read many people having similar issues. Is 30 FPS a deal breaker? For me, not really, although 60 FPS should easily be achievable on PC and really should be the target. I wonder if this is a limitation introduced to make console compatibility easier. Overall, a good looking game that in parts is amazing, but needs some optimization for PC. It is in beta, so I'm hoping that this is already in the works. Should also consider as well that the difference between low and very high or even ultra settings is not that much that you will notice visually, and you can look at a little preview of those options when you're changing them in the settings menu itself. Is Ghost Recon Wildlands The Division 2, as many people have been calling it? Well, no, it's not, and it's a little unfair on the game to label it as such. This is a different game completely, but it does use the Ubisoft open world playbook just as The Division does. This means there are similarities, main story missions that you can tackle in an order that you would like to. However, in my playthrough of both the open and closed betas, I didn't see any missions that were level restricted like in The Division, where missions had a recommended level before you could try them. Character level in Wildlands seems to be more focused on unlocking skill points to gain new abilities. The bullet sponge enemies from The Division are gone. Many people will be glad to hear this. So in this game, a headshot is a headshot and kills in one go. This will make many people happy, as a major criticism of The Division was the unrealistic enemies who could take a few clips from your assault rifle before going down. In Ghost Recon Wildlands, time to kill and indeed be killed yourself is very fast and therefore very realistic. At this point, and this is to be expected, these are bullets, right? So personally, I didn't mind the method The Division used. I could suspend my disbelief pretty easily and just roll with it. It was an RPG after all. Having said that, what do I prefer? Well, Wildlands' method is much better. While it was satisfying in The Division to finally take down a boss that had for some time been obliterating you in a few seconds, it's so much more satisfying to silently flank around the base in Wildlands, positioning your guys to get that first sync shot off and dropping a number of them before the others even know what's happening. Doing this with 3 other friends in a squad is amazingly satisfying, and this is where Wildlands' strength and longevity will be. For me, the obvious comparison is The Division. I enjoyed this game. Was it perfect? No, but you got what you should have been expecting, which was a big open world Ubisoft game with a set of structured main quests supported by lots of busy work, character leveling and weapon crafting, and story that was debatable as to how engaging it was. If you enjoyed The Division and, like me, is approaching 70 hours of great fun with friends and random folks, then you will love this. 70 hours for me is more than my money's worth. If you thought The Division was just okay, but you still enjoyed it, then I'd say Wildlands offers enough for you to hopefully be upgraded to happy. It is bigger, more interesting world. Yes, it contains a lot of busy work still, but it feels more varied than that of the Division, and of course the combat is very satisfying. If you wish the Division enemies were not bullet-absorbing superhumans, then this could be the experience for you. So will I be buying it? Yep, for sure, I think so. I got 15 hours out of the beta already, both open and closed beta, and the experience of playing with others and achieving a shared goal is pretty awesome. One last thing, the radios. There are radios everywhere in this game. It's well documented and complained about on Reddit. They're on street corners, in houses, and annoyingly, the default state for a radio when you get into a car is on all the time, every time. What's worse is that if, like me, you record YouTube videos, much of that music is actually copyrighted, and therefore my videos have gotten several copyright strikes. So please tone down the radios or make sure that the default is set to off, Ubisoft. In closing, I'd like to thank you for your time spent watching this video. It's only my second video, so I welcome any constructive feedback from anyone. I'd also like to mention the wonderful community I own, currently based on Google+. It's called Good Guys Gaming, and I'll put a link on the screen to that. Please do come and join us. That's where all of the action happens. We're trying out a lot of different things at the moment. Guild Wars 2, many FPSs like Call of Duty, and also we had a good following for the Division as well, and I'd expect that also will be the same for Ghost Recon Wildlands. So please do come along and say hi. And finally, please as always, drop a like and a subscribe on the video. Thank you very much.